Have you ever found yourself using an app or maybe a service and thinking, wow, someone really got exactly what I needed,
Yeah.
even before I knew it myself?
Yeah,
It almost feels kind of like magic sometimes.
it does. But that seemingly effortless experience, it's rarely magic. It's
Right.
usually the result of a really deliberate, focused, and, well, often pretty complex process.
Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that process.
Yeah.
Specifically, the ideal workflow of a product manager.
Mm-hmm.
These are the sort of unsung architects who orchestrate that whole journey from just an idea
Mm-hmm.
to a product people actually love.
Absolutely.
So this deep dive is basically your shortcut to understanding the secret sauce, if you will, behind effective product development. We're pulling back the curtain on how truly valuable things come to life.
And our guide for this is the Product Manager's Complete Workflow Guide.
Exactly. And our mission here is to explore how PMs use this, like flexible iterative approach,
Yeah.
how they bridge customer needs, business goals, and the tech side,
Right.
making sure they solve real problems.
Hmm.
And, to bring this to life a bit, we'll follow the hypothetical journey of a new fitness app. Let's call it Urban Stride,
Okay.
designed for, say, urban professionals who want personalized outdoor running plans.
That's a great example. And what's fascinating here, I think, is that while most people only see the finished product,
Yeah.
the journey to get there is systematic, yes, but also incredibly adaptable. It really emphasizes collaboration and, crucially, data.
So not just a checklist then.
Not at all. The guide makes it really clear. We'll talk about these phases, in a logical order, but in practice, PMs often jump back. They
Yeah.
revisit earlier steps based on new insights or feedback. It's a living, breathing process.
Absolutely. And when you think about that Urban Stride app,
Hmm.
how do you even begin? How do you make sure it's something people actually want?
Well, it all starts fundamentally with understanding people. Precisely. This first phase, consumer research, it's not just ticking a box. It's about grounding every single decision that follows in real-world data, not just, assumptions or gut feelings.
Because if you skip that,
If you skip this, you're basically building in the dark. And that's just a recipe for, well, building something nobody wants.
okay, so how do product managers actually do that? How do they peel back those layers to really get who they're building for?
It really begins with defining your ideal buyer persona. And this isn't just demographics like age and job title. It's way more detailed. A semi-fictional profile that really humanizes your target user.
Okay.
So for our Urban Stride app, our persona might be, let's call her Alex. Alex, 28, urban professional, lives in Seattle.
Okay.
She's busy, dislikes crowded indoor gyms, but absolutely loves being outdoors, Wants quick, personalized workout plans on her phone, fitting into her kind of unpredictable schedule.
Right. Very specific.
Yeah, and we'd gather data for Alex from surveys, interviews, maybe even looking at existing app usage analytics to paint that detailed picture. That makes Alex feel incredibly real. So once you understand Alex, the individual, what about the bigger picture? The market she's in.
Right. That's the next layer, market analysis. You absolutely need to assess the market's overall size. You need to identify who your existing competitors are, what they're doing well, what they're missing, and understand the current fitness trends. Is outdoor running tech booming? Are people moving away from gyms?
So it's not just about copying others.
No, not at all. It's about identifying gaps. For Urban Stride, maybe there are tons of gym apps, but a real shortage of personalized outdoor running programs tailored to specific city environments. That's a gap.
Okay.
And this involves understanding the market's potential. You often hear terms like TAM, SAM, SMM.
Right. Total addressable market.
Exactly. Total addressable market, everyone who could possibly buy. Serviceable addressable market, those you can realistically reach. And serviceable obtainable market, the slice you can actually capture.
Got it.
These numbers help justify the investment in building something like Urban Stride in the first place. It sounds incredibly thorough. What's like one key insight or best practice that often gets missed here in this research phase?
I think the real power comes from combining the qualitative stuff like focus groups, where you hear Alex's actual words, her frustrations, with the quantitative like surveys with hundreds of people to see statistical patterns, get both sides.
Makes sense.
And also involve the whole team early. Engineers, designers, marketers, get them in the room. It prevents silos later on and gets everyone truly aligned on who Alex is and why Urban Stride matters right from the start.
How long does this usually take?
Typically, maybe 2 to 4 weeks. And honestly, it's time incredibly well spent. It prevents so much wasted effort down the line.
I can definitely see that. Okay, so Once you have such a crystal clear picture
Mm-hmm.
of Alex, our ideal user,
Mm-hmm.
the next step feels more focused, right? Figuring out the specific problem Urban Stride is going to solve for her.
Exactly. You nailed it. Innovation, it rarely comes from just creating something new because you can. It almost always comes from solving genuine, often quite painful problems. And the real skill in this next phase, identify the problem, isn't just finding any pain point.
Okay.
It's about discerning between, say, a minor inconvenience and a really profound unmet need. Something users might be desperate to solve, even if they can't quite articulate it perfectly themselves. That's where the gold is.
So how do you dig into a persona like Alex to find those profound needs, not just the surface stuff?
You dive deeper into her daily frustrations. You start asking questions like, what truly matters most to her? Is it saving time, saving money? Or maybe it's the emotional fulfillment from a great run.
Mm-hmm.
What does she actually search for online related to fitness? Tools like RFs or SEMrush can help there. Are there recurring issues people mention in reviews of other fitness apps, maybe competitor apps?
Okay.
We might learn, for example, that Alex really struggles to find safe, interesting running routes when she travels for work. Or maybe she feels overwhelmed by generic workout plans that just don't fit her preference for being outdoors.
That sounds like some serious detective work.
Yeah.
How do you then, validate these problems, make sure they're real and widespread, not just Alex's unique issue?
Oh, validation is absolutely key. You can't just assume. So we'd conduct user interviews, maybe aim for 10, 20 people similar to Alex to get those firsthand accounts.
Right.
We'd analyze competitor reviews on sites like G2 or Capterra looking for common complaints. Do others share Alex's frustrations?
Okay.
And we also use frameworks like jobs to be done or JTBD. Have you heard of that?
I have, yeah. The idea that people hire products to do a job.
Exactly. Nobody wants a drill bit. They want the job of hanging a picture done.
Right.
So what job is Alex trying to accomplish with her fitness, and what's currently blocking her? For Urban Stride, maybe the job is find an inspiring, safe outdoor workout quickly without planning for ages.
That's a great way to frame it. Shifting from features to outcomes. So what's a common mistake teams make here? How do you avoid it?
I'd say the biggest pitfall is falling in love with the solution too early. We call it solution bias.
Ah, okay. Jumping ahead.
Yeah. At this stage, the focus has to be solely on the what and the why of the problem, not yet the how.
Got it.
So for Urban Stride, our clearly defined problem might be something like, Alex wastes 20 minutes daily manually searching for safe, personalized outdoor running routes, and then struggles to adapt generic plans to her urban environment. Clear. Concise.
And you show that.
Absolutely. Share it with all stakeholders. Get everyone nodding along. This phase usually takes about 1-2 weeks, and it really transforms those vague ideas into truly actionable insights.
Okay, with that really precisely framed problem in hand, I imagine the energy shifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do product teams then channel that focus? How do they start generating actual solutions for Alex?
Right. Now, for the fun part, as you said, brainstorming. And the true insight here isn't just about, generating lots of ideas, though that's part of it.
Okay.
It's about deliberately inviting the wrong ideas or the unconventional ones. Those often challenge our assumptions and open doors to solutions we wouldn't even have considered if we just stuck to what felt safe or obvious.
So quantity over quality at first.
Initially, yes, absolutely. Get it all out there.
So who gets invited to this brainstorm? Is it just the core product team working on Urban Stride?
Oh, no. Ideally, it's much broader than that. You want to engage a wide range of stakeholders, engineers, definitely, marketers, designers, but also, crucially, customers themselves. People like Alex, you conduct interviews, maybe asking things like, why do you feel that way about this existing app? Or what would make this genuinely better for you?
Using the problem as the anchor.
Exactly. The identified problem acts as the focal point, sparking discussions on how Urban Stride can really address it.
And are there specific techniques that help to get that quantity over quality vibe going?
For sure. Teams use structured sessions like dedicated brainstorming workshops
Right.
or digital tools like Miro or Jamboard for virtual mind mapping.
Right.
The key is to create a space where open sharing is encouraged. Remind everyone that even a seemingly bad idea might spark a truly brilliant one in someone else.
And write it all down.
Critically important. Document everything. Capture all those ideas, no matter how wild they seem, in a centralized place. You never know what gem might be hidden in there.
It sounds like it could get chaotic, but in a good way.
Exactly. It's generative chaos. Best practices include setting clear ground rules up front, like no criticism during ideation, just pure generation.
Okay,
And definitely aim for diversity in the participants, different backgrounds, different roles. It really helps avoid groupthink.
makes sense.
This creative phase usually lasts about 1-2 weeks, and the output is this rich pool of raw ideas ready for refinement. You've hopefully left no stone unturned in potential solutions for Alex.
So you've got this, like, incredible brainstorm output, maybe dozens, hundreds of ideas swirling around. How on earth do you narrow that down? How do you land on the one concept that's going to actually become our Urban Stride app?
Yeah, that's the next crucial step. Build the concept. This stage is all about synthesis, taking those diverse, sometimes conflicting inputs and refining them into a single, cohesive, viable product concept. It's where you select and then clearly document the core idea you believe will solve Alex's identified problem most effectively.
That sounds like a really tough decision-making process, especially if there were lots of creative ideas. How do they choose?
It definitely requires careful evaluation. It's not just picking the shiniest object. The first step is to narrow down those ideas. You might choose one really strong direction, or sometimes you blend elements from several promising concepts.
And what guides that choice?
It shouldn't be arbitrary. It needs to be based on clear criteria. Things like feasibility, can we actually build this with our resources and tech? Alignment, does it fit our overall business goals? And most importantly, potential, how well does this really solve Alex's core problem?
Right, back to the problem.
Always back to the problem.
So once that direction is chosen, how is it formalized? How do you make sure everyone's on the same page about what Urban Stride is?
That's where the product requirements document, or PRD, comes in. It's a critical document. The PRD defines the product specifications in detail. For Urban Stride, it would address things like, what form will it take? A mobile app, obviously, but maybe iOS first. Or cross-platform. How specifically does it address Alex's route finding and personalization issue? What are the core features absolutely essential for the first version, the MVP, versus things that are nice to have later?
Prioritizing even here.
Exactly. And crucially, how will we measure success? User adoption rates.
Yeah.
Engagement metrics like runs logged. The PM's role here is often to either build very early prototypes themselves, if they have the skills, or to guide the design and engineering teams with crystal clear recommendations based on this PRD.
That sounds like it creates a really clear blueprint.
Right.
Are there any, like, critical safeguards or best practices during this concept phase?
Absolutely. Using established PRD templates can really help ensure consistency and that nothing gets missed. You can find good ones from places like Atlassian or Product Board. And super important, if there are any legal or compliance things like data privacy for user health information in a fitness app, involve those teams early. Don't wait.
Good point.
And finally, share drafts of the PRD widely. Get feedback from engineering, design, marketing, everyone. Ensure buy-in before you move forward. This phase typically takes maybe 2-3 weeks, but the result is that clear product vision you need.
Okay, so we know what Urban Stride is conceptually. We have the PRD. But now comes the logistical challenge, right? How do you actually plan its journey and decide what gets built first when resources, as you said, are always limited? Feels like you could get lost in the weeds really fast here.
You absolutely could. And that's exactly why establishing a product roadmap and then prioritizing features are so critical. They often go hand in hand.
So the roadmap is the big picture plan.
Precisely. The roadmap is the strategic document that outlines the development timeline, the key milestones, the launch plans. It ensures everyone from engineering to marketing to leadership is aligned on the bigger picture and the sequence of events.
And prioritization fits into that how?
Prioritization is about making the smart choices within that roadmap. It's about maximizing the impact you deliver to Alex, given those real-world constraints of time, budget, and people.
Okay, so what actually goes into this roadmap document? Is it just a list of features and dates?
Oh, it's much more than that, ideally. For Urban Stride, the roadmap would detail specific dates and deadlines. Sure, like MVP release plan for end of Q2.
Right, the minimum viable product.
Exactly, the simplest version that still solves Alex's core problem. But it also breaks down the major tasks or epics like design sprints for core UI, back-end integration for route mapping. It assigns responsibilities. Engineer X owns back-end.
Got it.
And crucially, it defines the key performance indicators, the KPIs we'll use to measure success after launch. Things like user retention rates, or maybe the average number of runs completed per user per week.
How do you stop a roadmap from becoming instantly outdated? Things change so fast.
That's a great question, and flexibility is key. It's a core best practice. Roadmaps are living documents, not set in stone. They're often reviewed and adjusted, maybe quarterly.
Yeah.
Tools like Jira, Trello, or dedicated roadmap software like Roadbunk help manage this. And communicating the roadmap widely and any changes to it fosters accountability and keeps everyone pulling in the same direction. Building the roadmap itself might take 1-2 weeks.
Okay, so once that overall journey is mapped out, how do you make the tough calls? How do you decide which specific features, maybe like adding guided audio coaching versus a map with user-generated routes, get built first for Urban Stride?
That's the art and science of feature prioritization. You have to evaluate each potential feature systematically,
Oh.
typically based on, say, 3 key things. First, its contribution to the core product vision. Does it directly help solve Alex's main problem? Second, how well does it fulfill specific user needs? We often use user stories here, like, as Alex, I want to discover new safe running paths easily so I can explore my city. And third, its resource requirements. How much time, money, and engineering effort will it take to build?
Are there frameworks for this? It sounds complex.
There are lots of them. Moscow is popular, must have, should have, could have, won't have this time.
Right.
Rice is another good one. Reach, impact, confidence, effort. You score features on those dimensions. Or the Kano model, which looks at basic needs versus performance features versus delighters.
So using race, for example.
Yeah, using Rice for Urban Stride, we might calculate that, say, the basic route mapping, high reach, high impact, high confidence, a moderate effort, gets prioritized over maybe a complex social challenge feature.
Right.
Lower reach initially, uncertain impact, lower confidence, high effort. You deprioritize the low impact, high effort stuff.
This sounds like a really practical way to make those trade-offs.
Yeah.
What helps make sure you're making the right choices, though, not just efficient ones?
Basing decisions on actual user feedback and analytics whenever possible is critical. Don't just guess.
Data again.
Always data. And it's also about balancing those short-term wins, the quick fixes, with the longer-term strategic vision for Urban Stride. Where do you want the product to be in a year?
Right.
And crucially, being willing to reprioritize. New information comes in, the market shifts, user feedback tells you something surprising.
Yeah.
You have to adapt. This combined stage, roadmap plus prioritization, really provides that clear blueprint for execution and ensures you're focusing your limited resources where they'll make the biggest difference for Alex.
Okay, wow. So all the planning is finally done. The roadmap is set. Priorities are clear. Now, finally, for the rubber to meet the road, actually building the thing, this has to be the most exciting part, right? Getting hands-on.
It truly is, in many ways. This implement the plan phase is where all that careful thinking and planning starts to translate into tangible code, design, actual product. The product manager's role here can vary. They might be overseeing the different teams, engineering, design, QA, issuing clear instructions based on the PRD and roadmap. Or sometimes, if they have the technical skills, they might even directly contribute to the build, maybe helping with some coding or configuration.
And how do they manage the actual building process itself? Are there different standard approaches?
Absolutely. Teams typically choose a development methodology that fits the project and the team culture. The 2 most common you hear about are Agile and Waterfall.
Right.
Agile is really characterized by its iterative nature. You build, you release small chunks, you get feedback, you adjust. Frameworks like Scrum, with its short sprints, are very common here. It allows for flexibility and quick adjustments based on learning.
And Waterfall?
Waterfall is more sequential. It's a controlled process where each phase, requirements, design, implementation, testing is fully completed and signed off before moving to the next. You typically have one big final approval before launch.
Which is better for something like Urban Stride.
Generally, for software products like an app where user needs might evolve or be initially unclear, Agile is often preferred because of that built-in feedback loop and adaptability.
Okay. So during this building phase, what helps ensure it goes smoothly and actually delivers what Alex needs, according to the plan?
Communication is paramount. Fostering strong, constant communication is key. Things like daily stand-up meetings where the team quickly syncs up, using tools like Slack for quick questions. Monitoring progress is also vital. Using metrics like velocity in Agile helps track how much work the team is actually completing sprint over sprint. Looking at burn-down charts to see if you're on track.
And dealing with problems.
Exactly. It's crucial to proactively identify and handle risks or blockers. If a technical challenge pops up, or if a team member is stuck, the PM needs to help resolve that quickly to prevent delays. This implementation phase can obviously take a while, could be months, depending on Urbanstride's complexity,
Yeah.
but it's where the product truly takes shape.
You'd think, okay, once it's built, maybe launched,
Yeah.
the job's done,
Uh-huh.
right? Shoo.
If only.
But here's where it gets really clever, I think. The guide emphasizes that successful products are never truly done. They're constantly evolving.
That's such a vital insight and absolutely core to modern product management. It's an ongoing cycle. Evaluation, refinement, it absolutely doesn't end at launch. This final phase we're discussing, rapid prototyping and testing, is really about continuous iteration and optimization, making sure Urbanstride stays relevant and valuable to Alex over time.
So what does rapid prototyping mean after the app is already launched? Isn't the prototype stage finished?
Not necessarily in the sense of testing new ideas. Even post-launch, you might build quick, rough versions, MVPs, or wireframes of potential new features.
Oh, okay.
So for Urbanstride, maybe we're considering adding a social sharing feature where Alex can post her runs. Before investing heavily in building it perfectly, we might release a very basic version to a small group of users, just a quick prototype to see if they even engage with it. Test the concept rapidly.
Got it. And then beyond prototyping new things, how do they keep testing and improving the existing live product?
Constantly. Post-release, you're continuously evaluating performance and gathering feedback. This involves engaging users, again, surveys, interviews, but also digging deep into analytics.
Like what?
Like running A/B tests. Maybe we show half our Urbanstride users one version of the route suggestion algorithm and the other half a different version to see which one leads to more runs being completed. We use tools like Hotjar to see heat maps of where users are clicking or Mixpanel to track detailed user flows.
Okay.
And you have to actively address issues, fixing bugs that users report, responding to support queries. Internally, there should be ongoing collaboration, sharing critiques, brainstorming improvements based on the data coming in.
So that feedback loop just keeps going.
Exactly. That feedback loop fuels continuous enhancement. In an Agile environment, you might see this result in regular updates, maybe bi-weekly releases with small improvements and fixes.
So it really is a journey without a final static destination then.
Not in the sense of a finished artifact, no. Best practices here include consistently tracking those KPIs we said earlier, things like churn rate, are we losing users like Alex, why, or feature usage, are people actually using that new route discovery feature we launched?
Right.
The goal is rapid iterations. The quicker you can learn from users and data and then implement improvements, the more responsive and valuable Urbanstride remains. This final ongoing phase is what ensures long-term success. It's about constant adaptation and optimization.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all really mean? We've journeyed through this ideal workflow of a product manager using our Urbanstride app as a kind of guidepost. We went all the way from defining who you're building for our persona, Alex right through, to tirelessly refining the solution based on real user feedback, even after launch.
Yeah, it's quite the journey.
And what really strikes me is how this workflow is inherently iterative.
Right.
It loops back, it's deeply customer-centric, always focusing on Alex's needs, and it's intensely collaborative across all those different teams.
Absolutely. Those are the core characteristics.
It really highlights that successful product management needs huge adaptability, doesn't it? Strong communication skills are obviously essential, and just this unwavering, almost obsessive focus on delivering genuine value to the user.
That's a great summary.
It's kind of a testament to how methodical, yet fundamentally human-focused true innovation can actually be.
And if we connect that to the bigger picture, I think it's just so clear that building great products, it isn't usually about a single aha moment, that flash of genius.
Right, the myth of the lone inventor.
Exactly. Instead, it's this continuous cycle: discovery, creation, refinement, repeat. It's about consistently asking that question, how can we do better for the user? And then, crucially, using data and collaboration to actually act on those answers.
So, thinking about this whole deep dive, what really stands out to you listening right now? Given this structured yet clearly flexible approach to building products, how might applying even just a few of these principles, maybe like really deeply understanding your audience or committing to rapid iteration, how might that apply to your own projects or even just your own problem solving? How could it help you be more effective and maybe avoid building something that, well, nobody truly wants?
A powerful framework.
Definitely something to think about. And for further reading, if you're keen to explore even deeper, the source material suggests checking out Inspired by Marty Cagan. It's considered a classic in the field. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.